Welcome to Captives Over Cocktails, the only place where we serve up complex funding strategies with a twist of lime and a splash of attitude.
We're your hosts. I'm Lydia.
And I'm Ashley. And we're here to break down the world of captives. No jargon, no fluff, just real talk about what's working, what's not, and what you actually need to know to win in this space.
So think of this as your insider happy hour. Whether you're a seasoned broker, a captive curious advisor, or just here for the vibes, we've got something for you.
So grab a drink, turn up the volume, and let's dive into the stories, strategies, and straight up truths that are reshaping the funding landscape.
This is Captives Over Cocktails. Cheers. Ashley, so Captives Over Cocktails. Let's tell everyone what they're in for over the next few episodes.
Absolutely. All right. This season, we're diving into captives, alternative funding in general, and the insurance trends no one's really talking about. We're here to challenge conventional thinking and bring some bold perspectives to the table.
Yeah, so we're going to have guests, real talk, cocktails, and maybe the occasional rant because, hey, this industry needs a little shaking up and push of the status quo. We're going to take about 10 minutes every week to do hot topics, quick bits. So if you're an employer, broker, or just someone who geeks out about insurance at the dinner table, you're not going to want to miss this.
Yeah, we're setting the tone for a great season. I'm excited about it. But before we get too deep, let's talk about what ClearPoint is and what you and I do.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So ClearPoint Health is a digital alternative funding marketplace. We like to say we've built the ecosystem that employers and benefit advisors have been waiting for. We've got the nation's first non-BUCA level funded panel, a traditional stop-loss marketplace, and our flagship offering, an evolved, configurable captive program. And it's all accessible through one seamless RFP.
Exactly. I think people are probably sick of my face as we do webinars about our evolved captive strategy. But at ClearPoint, we're not just offering products, right? We are truly rethinking about how funding strategies perform. That's a key word there for me. Our evolved strategy is built to reward employers who do the right things, engaging their members, managing risk, embracing cost management. This isn't just a one-size-fits-all pool. It's a performance-driven model, the Jaguar of captives, that aligns incentives, tracks impact, and gives employers real-time insights through our technology platform. So from quoting to renewal, we guide brokers and employers every step of the way. Think of it as a map with data, transparency, and built-in accountability that drives better outcomes and long-term value.
So Ashley, tell me about how your background and role at ClearPoint Health will play into this Captives Over Cocktails. I've seen you on the webinars. We're usually confused for each other, so this might freak people out, seeing us side by side. I've seen you on LinkedIn. What drives your why around ClearPoint Health, and what drives your passion around this space?
Yeah, I've worn a lot of hats in this industry. I did a post the other day saying, everyone says the cliche topic of no one ever dreams of working in the insurance industry when they're a kid. And, that's true. But I've worked for a carrier. I've been a broker. I've worked through a lot of captive strategy as well. And honestly, nothing drives me more than showing people that there is a better way. And in that post, feel free to go check it out. I talk about being a kid and my parents putting my heart surgery on a credit card. And I felt like such a burden as a teenager to watch my parents putting a surgery on a credit card. And then I sat with employees during open enrollment as a broker while they made absolutely heartbreaking choices between healthcare and bills. They would choose, the lowest option, not knowing the impact, or no option at all, because that meant their gas money to get to work. Right. And that sticks with you. So my role at ClearPoint is all about partnerships. But what that really means is helping people connect the dots, right? Helping people find their voice in the self-funded world and building funding strategies that actually work. So this podcast is just one more way that I get to do that with a bit more edge, a bit more fun. And I love what I do day to day. What about you, Lydia?
Awesome. Yeah. So that's great. And I think it's so important for us to kind of set the stage of who we are and what we're about before we really jump into this, because it's going to be light. It's going to be fun. We're adding that new, fresh twist on these topics, but It's good to have that background so people know the lens in which we're seeing it. people know the lens in which we're coming from. So when people ask how I got into this space, because you're right, no one like dreams about being in the employee benefits space, but I've really spent my career in partnerships. So from working for a company that represented the Hollywood studios to the legal field to here, partnership and relationships have always been my main driver. You've got to trust the people that you work with and that you're working for. And I try to leave people with that warmth coming out of every conversation I have. I think there's something about this space, though, that hits home for me. You go through, as you mentioned, you go through personal loss, health crises. You watch your parents almost die from cancer. I'm watching one of my in-laws right now struggle with brain cancer. You see the effects that this system has on everyday hardworking Americans. And then you commit to yourself to being part of the solution, not the problem. And I want to be part of building a more sustainable, accountable insurance. And I think ClearPoint Health is really a propeller of that catalyst of change. And I always think when you connect that project with your purpose, everyone in this industry needs to have their why, because then you wake up every morning and it's not just a job and it's not just partnerships or talking to employers. Like you are truly helping the employee that's struggling with that cancer diagnosis, with their child being sick or with a specialty drug. And so that connector for me is the driver, and ClearPoint Health, like I said, is that main catalyst of change. And that's why I wake up every morning.
Yeah, we're just getting started. I feel like the industry is just getting started. We're in this kind of, there's a first generation of fully insured carriers. So there's first generation of captive carriers. And I think we're in that second generation now. Mm-hmm. We get to look back at what the industry has kind of built their foundation on and do better. Yeah. So I think we're in a really exciting time. I couldn't be more excited about what's ahead. I think helping people demystify this space. Before, I feel like when I started and I became a broker, it was a really convoluted space that someone had to decode for you. And They wanted it that way, right? Like that was the whole point. It was like a secret society that to be indoctrinated into, and employers should be able to figure out captives on their own. It should not be that complicated, right? They should be able to ask their broker, right? You shouldn't be waiting for your broker to bring it to you. And I hope they are bringing it to you, but I think it's something they should know about as an option already. So I'm excited for what's ahead. Excited about doing this with you.
Yeah, because I think we're going to bring some unique perspectives to the table. You've been in this industry for a long time. I've been in this industry a handful of years. Not that long. But I think it's going to be nice to just bounce some fresh perspectives off of each other. So next week, looking forward, we are going to dive into Captives 101. What does that look like? What do brokers need to know in 10 minutes, right? It's the foundation. Perfect for breaking down the basics and helping you sound like a pro in your next client conversation. Because like Ashley said, there are other solutions. There's an alternative way. There's a better way. But a lot of the times it's just feeling comfortable and having that conversation. So we're going to break that down. We're going to demystify. We're going to make it not so scary, as I used to tell my little kids.
Yeah. So whether you're new to the space, just need a refresher, it's a must listen next week. We're not going to just do your typical textbook definition. If you Google what a captive is, I'll really kind of make it into layman's terms. We're going to talk super casually about it. I always try to turn everything that's, feels like another language into speaking plain English. So I'm excited about next week, and tune in then.
Yeah. So should we wrap this round? Yeah. So at our next happy hour, we're talking Captives 101, what brokers need to know in 10 minutes.
All right. So everyone, until then, keep your pitch strong, your cocktails cold, and your captive strategy even stronger.
Cheers. And we'll catch you on the next round.